Hi, all right, here's a question from Catherine. Catherine says, "Hi Tabitha, I've been craving soft, warm cookies. But I'm staying with my parents for Thanksgiving week and they judge people so hard for eating sugar or anything with sunflower oil or soybean oil in it. They are so much on their high horse about not eating carbs. My mum thinks the reason I'm underweight and miserable is that I need to go keto and eat all this meat, but I want sugary fats. Every time I bite into something like that, I feel their stupid judgment and it ruins it all. Help." So this is similar to another question that someone, well, it wasn't a question, it was a comment that someone wrote on the video I did about religious fasting. I think it was last edit, who said that it was something to do with her mum just thinking that her eating disorder was actually just a good diet. And I think that the message here is, don't listen to your parents. I didn't say that. Don't tell your parents I said that. And if you're a kid, you should listen to your parents. But about some things, because I'm not saying that your parents don't know what they're talking about or anything like that, but they don't really know what they're talking about. The thing is that your parents, just like everybody else in our culture, have been affected by this cultural fear of weight gain belief system that our culture has. And so a lot of people's parents have grown up in a culture where dieting is very normalized. I'd actually say that it's that generation. So it's usually the generation of people that are now, I guess, between 55 and 75. So whatever generation that is. I think that they were most affected by all of the diet culture around low fat, low sugar, and all of that stuff. You know, the Calonetics generation where people ran around in leotards. Do you remember leotards? I think I had one when I was 12. It was purple and it was quite shiny. Anyway, nobody has leotards anymore, do they? I don't think so. I haven't seen one for a very long time. But you know, it's the leotards and strap bands and keep fit generation where Weight Watchers was formed, and it just seemed normalized to go on a diet. And it was very normalized to go on a diet. And that is the problem. That is why a lot of people's parents think it's normal to diet. And it's not because they're stupid and it's not because they're evil. It's just because they've been brought up in a culture that says this is the normal way of doing things. And that's difficult to change, isn't it? By the time somebody is in their 60s and all their life they've been led to the belief system that dieting is normal and suppressing your body weight is normal and that leotards are normal, then that's a difficult mindset to change, unless for them it's got to the point where they have to change it because they had an eating disorder and they had to actually come to terms with that belief system to recover from it. Because I've worked with plenty of people that are in their 60s and even 70s that have successfully been able to do that. But that's why a lot of people, I think, struggle when they're in recovery with their parents and with making their parents being able to understand. And it's sometimes not the big stuff like a parent saying to you, you shouldn't eat that delicious, gooey, chocolatey, chunky cookie. It's not often the big stuff like that being direct. It's just often the smaller things, the little comments. Oh, that's a lot of food, isn't it? And that sort of thing coming from parents that piss people off when they're in recovery. And it's totally understandable. But the thing is that's life. And if it's not your parents, it's going to be somebody else who thinks you should be on a diet because they're on a diet. It's going to be somebody else that says comments like, "Oh gosh, you're having whipped cream on top of that hot chocolate. How can you do that? How do you stay so slim?" Like all the stupid comments like that. Or I'd have to go and do 10 hours in the gym if I had that hot chocolate. Stupid comments like that they think are normal, but really it's just indicative of that belief system around fear of weight gain. And it's those small comments, I think, that piss people off the most and people find the most irritating. But like I said, that's life. And there's always going to be somebody that's going to say that sort of thing because we live in a culture that has that fear of weight gain belief system. I think it's getting better. And I think that people, as generations move on, are going to move away from diet culture. But it's still there to some extent. So what you got to do is you've got to see your parents as good practice, because parents are always the most irritating type of people. So if you can have your parents saying comments like that, and train yourself not to get irritated by it, then you're going to be fine with just about anybody else that comes your way. So think about your parents. Those are the practice runs. And you eat as many of those big, gorgeous, gooey, sugary, fatty cookies in front of your parents as you like. Let them make their comments. Let them have their say. And you just sit there and smile and you keep eating. And that's your practice. And if you can not get irritated by them, then job done. All right, bye.